Hello to everyone, this is Mauro Chiarugi and this is a new episode of the Car Rental Podcast. Today we'll speak about a topic that I love, the self-service car rental. Have you ever wondered to provide a self-service experience, automatizing your business, where the customer can book the car, skip the queue at the desk, eliminating all the activities that are not creating the value for you and for the customer? Eliminating to insert the customer details, scan documents, and so on? Well, today we have a special guest, Phil from MoveMe. Hey Phil, how are you doing?
Hi, Mauro. How are you? Thanks for inviting me onto the podcast. Good to see you again.
It's a pleasure. So thank you for accepting this invitation. It's a pleasure for me and also for the people that are listening this podcast to have you here. I think that you have a very good experience and some important information that you can share with us.
Yeah, I mean, would you like me to introduce myself and the company first?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, so my name is Phil Henrik. I'm from the UK, and I've worked in the automotive industry for almost 23 years now, from OEMs through to leasing companies at both UK and global level, and also in daily rental. And that's what brings me to MoveMe, which has developed a phone as a key, straight to car app and platform that allows any rental company or dealership to make their vehicles available to customers around the world to book and enjoy a contactless rental experience.
Wow, that's amazing. When did you start MoveMe?
The whole concept was established around 3 years ago, and we took probably 2 years in developing the app and the platform to make sure it was right. So, lots of development, making sure we chose the right partners to do, different things like, for example, ID verification. So all that takes time to be able to bring it to the market. Round about just over a year ago in a test in Sweden. And the reason we did that really was that we believe that by and large, the customer journey and experience of daily rental companies hadn't really changed fundamentally in probably 20 years. And because of this, your customers will see that daily rental has now become a commodity. So there is that downward pressure on rates increasing every day. And we saw that by harnessing and using new technology, we could both radically improve the customer experience and drive up that rate per day for rental companies, sorry.
Yes, I absolutely agree. I think that all the world is going in that direction, and the car rental industry as well.
Yeah.
Maybe also faster than other industries.
Yeah.
Yeah. I have also a video that you share with me. If you agree, I can share also with.
Absolutely. Yeah, it'd be good to show your customers exactly a flavor of what we're doing.
Okay, so for the people that are looking at the video, I will press play. And for the other that are listening us, if you can just explain a little bit what is
this really is, it's showing how easy it is to set up an account. So, whether you're watching this or whether you're listening to it, we've all set up an Amazon account. A lot of people have set up a Netflix account. And, it needs to be that intuitive, that simple, because that's what, customers expect now. So by and large, it's as easy as setting that an account like that up. The only real difference is, and this is really important for your customers, is there is that additional step of validating the customer's ID to make sure that the documents that are presented are both legal and have not been reported stolen, and to also do a soft credit check. So you'll notice from this, it's not just a case of scanning in driving license and ID card or passport. The app will also get the user to do a liveness test. So it's not just taking a photo of yourself, because we know that people can beat the system by stealing somebody's documents and then placing a photo in front of the smartphone camera. This actually gets the user to move their head, to up and down, to smile, to frown, And we do that with both sets of documents because, you know, that then proves that this is a real person. And that for your customer is absolutely key. So when your customers are receiving bookings via MoveMe, they know that the people who are booking their cars are genuine and they have the means of pay. We've done that soft credit check as well. As you see here on the video, it's doing that liveness test as we speak.
Yeah, this is very important also for the car rental companies to know that who are the people to whom they are renting the car, and that obviously they will have the car back.
Absolutely, that these people are real, genuine people. They have the means of payment as well. And, you know, as you say, that car will be returned.
Yes. So I also verified that with your app, the customer will be able to do everything online. So from the registration to booking the car. And
absolutely, that's the whole idea. The whole idea is that from the comfort of his or her sofa at home, they can do the registration and account setup and ID verification. You know, once they have done that, that account setup is a one-time setup only. So it's done. It will obviously ask every time a customer then books a vehicle, it will ask them to verify their documents again, just to say, yes, these are my documents. In that way, we capture anything that might have changed from the previous time. The driving license might have gone out of date. The passport might be expired as well. So we have to make sure of that. But it's a one-time registration. When that has been approved, because the app goes out to the licensing agencies and checks that these documents are real. If the customer has an account approved, then from his or her sofa at home, they can start searching for MoveMe cars around the world and make a reservation. MoveMe integrates, as we have with MyRent, so we integrate with a rental management system so that MoveMe advertises vehicles for reservations that are in real time. It integrates with your system to make sure that those vehicles are truly available.
Yes, and then once the vehicle is booked, what will happen for the checkout?
So for checkout, when the customer arrives at his or her destination, the app will tell them exactly where the car is. So it will say, this is your car, it is a red Fiat Punto. And this is the registration number, and it is in this parking bay of this car park, and the best way to get to this car park is, I don't know, walk 50 meters, 100 meters this way, and there you are. Once they get to the vehicle, the app, you actually have a key on your screen of your phone. That will allow you to open the vehicle, to check the odometer and the fuel gauge. It will not allow you to start the engine yet, because obviously you have to go through that checkout process. So it will ask the customer to do an inspection of the vehicle. So it will ask them to take a photo from each corner of the car and compare that to any existing damage. So the app will show the classic schematic of a 2D version of a vehicle that you know well, Mauro, that will show the little red marks on where there is any existing damage, so that the customer can compare that to the photos he or she has taken. And if they find any additional damage, they then have the opportunity to take more photos, because then a copy of the photos goes to the customer, a copy of the photos goes to the rental company. So everybody knows what that vehicle, the condition it was in, was at checkout. When that process is finished, the customer will be asked to sign on the screen, which is effectively signing the rental agreement. So there are links, as you see there are links to the rental company's T's and C's. Once they have signed the rental agreement, they can then, the app allows them to turn the immobilizer off on the car. They can jump in the car, push the start button. It does work with the Blady key as well. We do have a solution for that. And for the duration of the rental, the phone is the customer's key. And then when they bring it back, we go through it in reverse, in check-in. So this time the customer tells the rental company what parking bay they've parked it in. They take four more photos to do that inspection again. And if they have caused any damage, it's their opportunity then to own up. The app will prompt them to check for any of their belongings still in the car, because once they lock the vehicle, then that is the end of the rental and the key is no longer active.
Yeah, I'm very proud to announce to our customers that MyRent is fully integrated with the MoveMe application. And so if someone is interested to automating the business, since tomorrow the solution is ready to use, and Phil is the best person to contact for starting this process.
Thank you, Mauro.
So if we can summarize, what are the five main benefits of adopting this disruptive business model, Phil?
Well, I think you've got to think about that. You can, it may not be for 100% of the fleet because it's something so new. However, there will be people, particularly in the world we now live in after COVID or during COVID-19, there'll be a lot of people who don't want to mix with other people. They don't want to wait in a queue, stand in line to sign their rental agreement. They don't want to handle a key that maybe they don't know 3, 4, 5 other people have handled that day. They want to go straight to the car, and they're prepared to pay an increased daily rate to do that. So there is that opportunity there that I think these unfortunate circumstances that we live in give to us in the rental industry, which will deliver obviously a better rate for rental companies. I think also it allows you to operate 24/7 because you don't need staff there to do a checkout or check in when they bring it back. And coming on to that, it means there are no additional staff that need to be employed to work with MyRent, because it's obviously all done remotely. Yes, the vehicles still need to be cleaned, but all vehicles need to be cleaned. And then also you have that flexibility. So at the moment, most rental companies have the customers come to their compound to pick the vehicles up. If you look at the companies that we've been working with, particularly say in Sweden, where we've been live for over 12 months, and in Greece, where we're having tremendous success at Athens Airport, all these rental companies now need are a parking space somewhere. So in Sweden, the customer, the rental company we've been working with that had one location now has 12 virtual locations. So it has, for example, now 3 car parking spaces opposite the exit to Gothenburg Airport Terminal. It's managed to negotiate 3 spaces. It's not an investment of another building, another compound, lots more staff. It's 3 spaces. And it could be airports, it could be train stations, it could be in Sweden as well. They have worked with housing developments where there are not enough parking spaces provided for everybody to have a car there. So they have that immediate access for the residents. So it's an opportunity for rental companies to start thinking in a little bit different way about how they approach the market. It gives them much more flexibility.
Absolutely. So, if I understood well, the COVID accelerated this process to adopting a self-service experience, isn't it?
Yeah, it was very interesting because we'd been live in Sweden from July last year. We then did a big launch into the US in February. And then obviously COVID came and the world sort of stopped. But it's amazing how after a couple of weeks of the quarantine that the world went into, all of a sudden, lots of rental companies around the world wanted to speak to me because they realized that we offered something that was different, that is going to be in demand from their customers, when we start to come out of that. And we've seen that, I know things are in a difficult position again now, but certainly throughout the summer, we saw a massive increase in demand from, in Sweden, we saw pretty much downtown city centre locations where people still wanted to move around but didn't want to share public transport. And we've seen, at Athens Airport, which has just boomed. That people flying in because Greece has obviously been open, that still people don't want to have that experience of dealing with lots of other people. So it's been fantastic, and on the back of that, we've been winning business, everywhere from, we launched in South Africa. This month we'll be in Cyprus. This month, Costa Rica. It's from one side of the world to the other. So it's proving to be very, very popular.
And well, Phil, not only car rental companies but also car dealers are
absolutely. So in Sweden, the main customer that we did the trial with is a big car dealership that happened to have one site compound for rental, and it's now increased to 12 throughout Sweden. So it shows that it's not just traditional car rental, it's also dealers who may run some rental already, or dealers who are thinking, well, my market's been squeezed by the OEM in terms of the margins I make. When we move to fully electric cars, how do I make money on servicing? Because there are 19 moving parts in an electric vehicle compared to 1,700 in an internal combustion engine. MoveMe gives them an opportunity to diversify. It takes them into mobility. They have the locations, because a lot of these are around city centres, and they also have the assets. There are vehicles there that maybe they are struggling to sell, or maybe they can run them and rent them for 3 months and then sell them. So there's lots to think about as well for dealer groups.
Well, so it means that MoveMe is expanding in many countries in this moment. How many customers do you have?
Yeah, we have 27 customers, either live or in the rollout around the world. So we go from Toronto to New Orleans in North America, Costa Rica, as I said, Greece, Cyprus, and our Greek customer now was just in Athens. We're now talking about some of the islands as well. So he's over the moon. He's going to expand. It's a very good story. Cyprus, Malta, Spain, Poland. We go live in Poland next week. Australia, New Zealand in December. And lots of discussions, trials in Puerto Rico, trials in Estonia, trials in Menorca. So UK, of course, Finland, Martinique in the Caribbean. There are lots, and I forget. So sorry, if I missed any. Sweden, don't forget Sweden, our main trial area. So lots to remember, and it's lots of conversations, all very positive at different stages. So very, very good, but obviously always looking for more partners to work with in different countries.
Yeah. Phil, we worked and we are working, and we will work together to integrate and to provide one self-service experience to the car rentals that are using MyRent. What was your experience in the integration with MyRent?
Honestly, it's been an absolute pleasure working with MyRent. I mean, genuinely, we have developed an immediate trust and respect for each other's business. I think that the product you have is fantastic. I really do. Both you, Mauro, and all your colleagues as well are so easy to work with, so responsive, which has been fantastic. So when we have been talking to mutual prospects, working together, it's a very, very joined up approach, a very seamless. We show to that prospect that we are working as one team. We have a common goal of improving the customer experience and profitability of rental companies. So it's easy. What more can I say? You have such a modern and well-structured system that integration has been very straightforward. And again, you and your guys have been very good, to help with that integration, rather than saying that, MoveMe must do it all. It really has been a partnership from the start. So, fantastic. I can't thank you enough.
Yeah, that's a pleasure for us, because it's a real value, an additional value that our customers are getting using the MoveMe integration. So the integration is very easy in the system because you will start receiving new reservation that will be marked as a self-service. It will be very easy to recognize them in MyRent. And of course, everything will be done by the customer himself. So they will take the car, you will see automatically the reservation becoming a rental agreement, all the damages will be marked, and of course, everything will be charged and billed automatically by the system. Phil, do you have a story to share with the people that are listening us? Something that happened that is
it's happening all the time. I mean, if you'd asked me this, I don't know, maybe a month ago, I would have, talked about Sweden because it's gone crazy. It's mushroomed, from everything from putting electric vehicles into an apartment complex where they have reduced parking, through, and they've had some repeat customers from that scheme with over 50 bookings each. I mean, this is crazy. This is being able to harness new technology to provide a mobility solution for people living in an apartment complex in Stockholm that don't have enough allocated car parking spaces, and they have repeat customers with over 50 bookings each. It's fantastic. Athens Airport, really, we started with 30 cars at the beginning of September. We're now at 50 cars already, and we do not have enough cars there. Again, this weekend, sold out of MoveMe. It's just, the stories are fantastic because it's volume, it's higher rate per day, but it's also new segments of mobility that maybe we didn't even know exist. I didn't know that apartment blocks being built in Stockholm now do not have enough car parking spaces. Yes. We find these new things all the time. So I think those two countries particularly have delivered some really, really interesting surprises for us.
And I think also the car rental companies are getting the benefit of a different rate, not the rate that they are selling in the tour operator.
No, it's not. We saw in my country, in London, you could, before COVID and probably now, you could fly to Heathrow and you could rent a small car for £1 a day.
Yeah.
Which, I know, you're the listeners and watchers know, nobody makes money out of that. So what do we get? We get probably a bad customer experience because when they get to the rental counter, there is so much pressure on the workers there to upsell, to sell more. And we take all that away. It's all done on the app. That opportunity to upgrade is there on the app. It delivers a much better rental experience. And customers are prepared to pay it because it's so much quicker than going and standing in a queue, waiting in line with 10 people in front of you. You can just go straight to the car. So I think, it's good news for everybody.
Yes. And Phil, do you have any suggestion to share with the people that are listening us?
I think, just picking up what I said before, I hate this phrase, it's very management speak, but start thinking outside the box. Because with MoveMe, all you need is a car parking space. And if you can find a parking space or 2 or 3 in an interesting area, a train station, near to an airport, as we've done in Gothenburg, you can all of a sudden create something really special. There are now city centre car parks that because of COVID, have very low utilization. Could they rent some spaces out to MoveMe? Could you all of a sudden put yourself in there as an alternative to public transport that people don't want to share? We're in a different world now. Everything is possible. So I think it's that idea of start seeing the world as an opportunity. It's been terrible times and terrible for our industry, but with new technology, we can offer something really different that nobody's seen before.
Yeah, that's very great advice. This from all the car rental companies, I think.
Yeah.
So, last question I have for you, Phil, is what should I ask you that I didn't know enough to ask?
Well, we're translated into lots and lots of different languages. So your customers, if they're listening, are thinking, well, but what about Italian? Well, yes. What about French? Well, yes. What about Spanish? Well, yes. German. And it goes on. And if a customer says, we really see a load of Russian customers, then obviously we would look to translate into Russian or whichever language is needed. So, this isn't because we are a UK-based company. Don't think that we just think inside Brexit UK. There is a bigger world. We know that. So the main languages are covered already. And if there is, demand for another language to be brought on, we will do that as well. So, this is a truly, truly multilingual, multinational app to be used around the world. So, we have customers this side of the Atlantic, the other side of the Atlantic, in Latin America, in Australia, New Zealand. They can see any vehicle in the world that is on the MoveMe platform. We're linked up to lots of the brokers. We can drive lots of business and reservation to your customers.
Awesome. It was great to have you here, Phil. I'll invite you again for sure once to keep us update how the business is going and what is the next challenge for MoveMe.
That would be a pleasure. And we have an app. It's technology. It's always moving. It's always changing. So there will be more and more iterations of this app. So I'd be delighted to come back and give you an update as and when. So you let me know. So thank you, Mara. It's been a pleasure.
Great. Thank you, Phil. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
And see you in the next episode. Bye.